Good morning, sir. Please may we meet you?
Yes, good morning. I am Dr. Chief Patrick Osagie Eholor, President One Love Foundation, otherwise known as Ultimate Equal.
So, what do you have to say about the passing of Oladipo Diya?
Well, with respect to your question, please add General.
General
Thank you,
Oladipo
thank you.
Diya.
It was a fine soldier. As a matter of fact, I couldn't even imagine that Nigeria we will have a fine soldier and gallant general. You know, something happened in the past when he was arrested for treasonable offense and he was sentenced to death. You know, as a Yoruba man, he didn't take it personally that it happens to him as a Yoruba man, even if he was targeted as a Yoruba man. And that's what we call a true statesmanship and another statesman. He took it lightly and, you know, by his grace of God, because God was on his side, you know, and I think he was pardoned and he was released from jail. You know, my first encounter with him when came out from jail, you know, as a number two citizens of this country. He wasn't relying on his connection. He wasn't amassing primitive words, you know. I was surprised and humble when he was going to dispose of his property at Ikeja. I remember Barrister Osagie Eholor, who is the present XSG to Godwin Obaseki in Benin, was my lawyer then. You know, he put on the deed together and you know, having that interaction with him and see how humble he was, listen, may so rest in peace. And besides that, he wasn't one who believes in having soldiers or military men around him as a bodyguard at all times. He was a soldier, but he was a civilian, and he was pure in heart. May his soul rest in perfect peace. As a matter of fact, he had the opportunity to become the president of this country before Abacha, but he didn't want to take advantage of anything because he wasn't desperate and let everything be. In spite of that, he was still haunted. They were trying to assassinate him twice, and those who were doing it were not Yoruba people. They were, you know, some Fulani cabal. But he didn't like said that to the mainstream media, so that there will not be a problem between Yorubas and the Hausa or the Fulani. So he was a gentleman, and he never wanted to divide Nigeria, you know. And he was a family man, and he was a man who believes in God. Anyway, may his soul rest in peace.
Sir, what do you have to say about the statement by the son, Agbokoba, who said he doesn't believe in the judiciary?
Well, you know, he has a right to say that. It's his own opinion. He's one of the, you know, best legal lumina in this country. I mean, he had made references to two things that we cannot sustain today in the court because, you know, when you say a precedent has been set, the word precedent is very important. It means that it's going to be a reference point in future. Precedent will only be set when the prima facie is clear, the evidence are clear, so that it can be a reference point in future. I am not a lawyer, but I do know what it means to say the prima facies are there. They are evidence that is admissible and inadmissible in court. So he made a reference very clearly to some inadmissible evidence when it comes to Hope Uzodinma. From number 4, it becomes number 1. That is preposterous. And I think that's part of why he's very troubled and worried. He also make a reference, don't forget, to the Senate president who were contesting as a president. All right? He failed and he went back again to court. And the court could not go back and use the president. He was giving back the ticket to go back to Senate. And that's why the likes of Agbokoba will be very afraid if we can have justice in the tribunal. But I am optimistic that the world is watching us. I'm also very happy that there are a lot of sanctions from different countries. Some of these judges who want to, you know, play with their future or their family and themselves. You know, when you steal money, you want to go to vacation with your children to America, to a European country, but you'll be banned. You won't go there, and your children will be here with us. And when your children mention your name, they will not be accepted anywhere in the world. I'm sure that most of you are clever enough now to take the bold step, because the judiciary is the last hope of a common man and do what is right for this country. We have no other country than Nigeria. So I'm hoping, I'm still very optimistic that wrongs have been done, but we are going to correct the wrongs, because there are still few good men in this country. There are still few good judges who can have the courage to deliver based on evidence. Having said that, we have Peter Obi, His Excellency. We also have Abubakar Atiku, His Excellency. We also have other candidates who are not very satisfied with this election, because there were a lot of irregularity, there were a lot of malpracticing, there were a lot of fraud, there were a lot of thuggery, you know. So my appeal today is that I am speaking not on base of political party now. I'm speaking on basis of my foundations. Those who are members of One Love Foundation worldwide, those who are in diaspora, they are calling the Nigerian government that this tribunal election has to be very, very, very transparent. What I mean transparent is that I hope you all remember the sweet election when O.J. Orenta Simpson was accused of murdering Nicole Simpson. And the whole world were watching live television. So we are at that point now that we are calling the federal government that we want this tribunal case from the beginning to the end to be transparent, to be televised. We all have the app on our TV. Some of us, we are going to move immediately to the courthouse to watch the judges, the prosecutor, to see the evidence live, so that Nigeria can be satisfied. So if suppose elected President Osagie Eholor becomes the president of this country, let it be. But the whole Nigeria must accept him to be our president. That is why I am saying to my people, my followers, that protests will not be the answer. I'm talking about violent protests. Molesting people will not be the answer. But people have a right within them to protest, because protest is a fundamental human right. So I also know recently when I was reading some papers that in order to have truths and reconciliation, that those who caused the mayhem, those who said the Igbos cannot vote or other ethnicities cannot vote, especially MC Olumo, what are the police doing? If you want to have a peace, you must seek for justice first. I think by now, the police should be telling us that MC Olumo has been arrested, that he has been indicted, prosecuted, and then we can go to court, and the court can see the evidence if there was an excitement from his side to say that those who will vote for any other person other than Tinubu should be killed, should be tortured. And we saw it across the board, that over 22 people died or more. We are still counting the dead, not the ones who were injured. That's where the reconciliation will begin. We cannot let that loose can, MC Olumo, go like that. And we are talking about equity and justice. We must talk about these things before we can really truly attain peace. And that's why I am saying that I am pleading on behalf of my foundation, on behalf of the good people of Nigeria, that please, when the tribunal commences, it should be televised all over the world, because the world is watching us. You can imagine now that Harris, the vice president of America, she's in Ghana today, and we are the giant of Africa, and she's not here. Come on now, we need America as the American need us. We need the world, and the world needs us. Don't forget that when Clinton was around, Clinton never visited Nigeria because of Abacha, because Abacha was a dictator. When Barack Obama was also there, he came to Ghana. He also don't visit Nigeria because they felt that our democracy has not been strengthening. Please, I urge Nigerians to plead with the Nigerian judges and the judiciary. They should be the light of this nation. They should be the truth and honesty of this nation. They should uphold to the oath of office to set a precedent that their children and their great-grandchildren will rely and refer to when we talk about law. I know for sure they can do it. If all you have is money, you are poor. Character is very important. Good morning.
Thank you very much for talking
Thank
to
you.
us, sir.